What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and I unfortunately had some issues like I had with the WizKids unboxing where I recorded these without any audio, so we're doing it over again. Have the newest set of epic encounters from Steamforged Games. You saw me, this one's upside down. Nope, this one is. You saw me do these back for the original 3 sets. This is the new 4th set, Temple of the Snake God and Chambers of the Serpent Folk, right? So we had kobolds and orcs and goblins. Now we have snake people. So these are kind of like an interesting, like a mustard brownish kind of color, and they have a very Aztec-y vibe to them. And I think they're pretty sweet looking. And I already did the up close recordings, but I'll just show you here. Take a look. They're just so nice looking, and they have all of the great stuff that you come to expect from Steamforged Games, like the booklet that gives you a full adventure, as well as the high-quality, like, Mylar double-sided playmat. So I said it before in those videos, and I'll say it again here. If you're looking to enter into the world of unpainted minis for your D&D campaigns or things like that, you really can't go wrong with Steamforged Games. Not only are you going to get a series of high-quality, very easily paintable minis, where you'll get multiple duplicates of them, so you'll have enough to run various encounters. You get a double-sided battle map, which can be used for more than just the encounter included, as well as an encounter with, in this case, pretty much all brand new stat blocks, as well as the adventure hooks, scalability information, and so on. And it all could be run standalone as part, and drop it into your campaign where possible, or you could run the sort of minion-based encounter chambers of the Serpent Folk, and then followed up with Temple of the Snake God as sort of a boss final encounter. It's awesome. I love these. These minis are super high quality. So why don't we take it in a little closer, and I'll show you each of the sculpts individually. So first up, we have the Serpent Folk Half-Blood. There are 6 of these included in the book. 3 of them are archers like this, and if you see, as we turn this around, you can see how quality the detail is. Look at the filigree on the armor, on the bow. You can even see the fangs and the tongue on this guy. Very cool snake person. These ones happen to have legs. Very nice. I like these a lot. I think they look great. And the second 3 are these sort of sword and board ones, and you can see, look at even the filigree on the shield of sort of the snake mouth, and you can see they are very kind of Aztec design in the way this sort of symbology or symbolism on all of the different pieces of armor, and as well you'll see in some of the weapons in a little bit here. Now these next ones are Serpent Folk. I think it's Nematoa. All I can think of is a nematode, but they're basically the casters, and you can see they kind of have like a ritualistic looking dagger, and these ones have snake lower bodies and caster snake, I guess spellcaster bodies. You can even see the tongues on these ones as well. Now there are 7 of these. 6 of them all look like that one, and the final one here looks pretty badass, and this one has, I guess is more like a high priest is wielding this scythe. And yet again, you can see the bottom. They all have snake-like lower halves and even like ridges down the back of these robes. And look at right in the middle. There's like a little snake, accent detail. I really like these a lot. All right, next up is the Serpent Folk Brute. These are sort of like your big heavy hitters. And this one you'll definitely see the Aztec vibes from the weapon. And you can even see, again, the art and stuff on the different armor, and he's got kind of this big look at the tail too as well, with all the scale patterns. And he's got this sort of Qatar punching dagger on that hand, and the cobra hood, and again a Aztec kind of themed main weapon. You get 4 of those. Now we're getting into the individual minis here. So first up, we have the Serpent Queen holding a skull in the second set of hands on the bottoms, and then the top 2 hands are wrapped with snakes. You can see a sun style pattern kind of on the back armor there, and the headdress. Next is the Gloom Wraith, which I guess is probably something she might summon, the Serpent Queen, and you can see it's got all this kind of smoke roiling off of it. The only downside for me is I'm not super great at replicating like translucent or ghostly like things with paint. So I'd love a translucent version of it, but people that are really good at that could make it look the way they need to. And last is Bone Naga, Servant of the Serpent throne. Now, unlike traditional bone nagas in D&D, this one has a lot of flesh on the body, and you can see where I'm pointing, there's different areas where like the rib cage and like guts are showing through. So it's more almost like a zombie than a traditional bone naga, which is more skeletal. But I really, really like this sculpt. You can see all the different little scales there. And this could definitely be obviously a snake or a zombie snake, or obviously use it as the bone naga as it's intended to be. But I like how you can even see like the deep set sockets where the eyes should be. I like this one a lot. I think it's a really cool and interesting, unique sculpt. I don't really need to showcase the map, but I do have the encounter here. So the map is a double-sided like mylar material. Looks to be spill resistant, might even be dry erase. And it is basically like a pyramid temple style. That's what both of them are, and obviously you can use them for other pyramids or temples. But we also get these encounter books, which showcases all of the minis on the back, and each one has kind of the standard stuff inside it. Not only will you get lore about it, you'll get adventure hooks on how to draw characters into it, then a breakdown like you would have in any other kind of pre-written adventure where it'll show you a map location with numbers annotating the different things in that area. It also looks like there might be strange magic that's happening in this one, so there's a table for that. And then in the back, we have the actual stats, right? So these are not like in the previous ones where we had goblins or orcs and they were just replicating the open game licensed stats. These are wholly new stats, right? Here's the Nematoa, here's the Gloom Wraith. We have one page, really easy to follow stats with everything you need to know. About the spellcasting, the different actions, and so on, as well as little annotations and pictures showing the different, what the minis look like. And yeah, it's got everything you need right here. So you can obviously use this, and you play this just by itself, or if you really want to truly cap it off, you can use the second set, which is the Temple of the Snake God, which I'll show you the single mini, the boss mini, inside that in just a sec. So here you go. I mean, take a look at this beautiful giant snake mini. This thing is huge. And you can see right here, there's a keyway on the bottom, and there's one simple little piece there that you can use to assemble it. It's just, you don't even technically need it. It looks fine without it, but it's a little piece of rubble that you can just slot in there, and it kind of sits right on there to finalize the whole piece. A little bit of super glue or something like that will lock it in place. Kind of a broken piece of the stone with, you can see snakes wrapped around it. And I mean, just look at the ridges on all of these scales, all the lines. This thing is amazing. I'm just a little sad as I won't really be able to do a good job of painting this because I'm just not that great at it. But you can see it also is included with this are these different tokens. There's the Nematoa and the Half-Bloods on the sides. So if you want to just buy this encounter because you want just the big mini or want to just do the boss, it comes with these tokens that you can just pop out and use to represent the minis. But if you happen to have the minion encounter, you don't need these tokens. You can just use those to replicate in place of them, or use these to supplement the encounter if you need more than just what's included. And if I zoom out, I can show you there's a dripping poison, a field effect. These ones here are shed skin, which could be difficult terrain, and these ones are literally say, why did it have to be snakes? Just pools of snakes for you to drop on the map. As a reminder, this one also includes a separate map and a separate booklet that's slightly different than the previous one. Not only does it reprint the stat blocks that you'd find in the minion encounter in the boss encounter, so you could again buy it and be 100% standalone, it also has something that we don't have in 5th edition, which is combat dashboard that kind of shows you what the monster does from turn to turn, right? So if it's the first turn, it'll tell you it does its attack, and then it follows up with the next set, and that kind of helps you get into the mindset of how this creature fights in combat. I really like it a lot. I went over to the Steamforged Games website to take a look at the pricing to get you guys an idea on that. It is still listed up for pre-order, so not available currently, but you can get Chambers of the Serpent Folk, the minion encounter with all of those different little minis, for $49.95, which is on par with just about every other epic encounter mini that we've seen, whereas Temple of the Snake God, the sort of large snake encounter with the big snake god, is only $29.95, which is actually the cheapest and most affordable of all of the epic encounter series. So again, thank you to Steamforged Games for sending these over for review purposes. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like to go pick a copy of these up for yourself. And yeah, I really like these because, again, we can continue moving forward with these series where we have these nice color-coded set of minis that you can use. I also like that I don't necessarily need to, I can pick and choose which ones I want to buy and run them individually. I also think you might be able to find a way to weave these all together into some larger overarching campaign where you use the minions and the bosses. Maybe you go through the series of different minions and then go back and start fighting the bosses and work your way up to maybe the dragon as the final boss or something like that. I'm excited. I just wish I had the time to paint them. They look phenomenal. There's a lot of detail there, probably more than you might have even been able to see in the video. But I'm curious, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Have you picked up any of these? And I'd love to see if you guys have pictures or something of you having painted them. I'd love to see the final sculpts with all the paint on them, just because I don't have the time and bandwidth to paint them myself. So I'd love to live vicariously through you and not have such a shameful set of unpainted minis, and hope that I could have that kind of time at some point in the future. Thank you once again, as I said, to Steamforged Games for sending these over for review purposes, and thank you to my patrons over on Patreon for continuing to support me and the channel. I will see you all next time.